Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show powered by the Full Court Network. Luke Taylor going one-on-one with his next guest. You know how we are not good at self-promotion, but don't forget to, subscribe, rate, and review. Follow us on all our Twitter handles, Instagram, all that good stuff. We're here for the juice. We're here for the conversation. We've got second-year Siena head coach, return guest. He's simply known as Eucalyptus Mint. Oh, we didn't forget about that one.
Wow.
We got the legend right there. If you look back there, one of my favorite teams of all time, we got Gerry McNamara of the Siena Saints, which, Coach, welcome back to the Full Court Press. But I'm going to interrupt you. Why isn't the logo like an angry like priest?
I'll tell you what, I'm actually happy that I have a logo. I think last year when we did this, I don't think I had this on my wall yet.
No.
So when I moved in, I looked at the office and I said, I just want the giant logo right behind my desk. So baby steps, brother, baby steps. We're looking good in here. I got shelves over here. I got all my stuff up. So
yeah. Are you still living in the dorm room?
No, thank God. I had to get away from Ben Lee and Ryan Bury. Great guys, but my wife's a better roommate than they are.
Well, you look back now, you're in the process, literally over a year in the process. You look back at it now, what was your kind of first impressions of the MAC or the MAC? 'Cause it's not the MAC, it's the Metro Atlantic, to what it is now? What kind of has changed in that kind of year, your impression of, Siena and the conference?
Well, I didn't go in with any preconceived notion of expectation of what I thought it was going to be. I think after going through it, I have a great appreciation for the coaching in this league. If you look of all the conferences in college basketball, I think our conference had the smallest margin of victory, meaning we had the most close games. Unfortunately, I was on the other end of a couple close losses last year.
Yeah.
Too many. But just a great appreciation for the coaching in this league, for the coaches. I had a chance, obviously before the season at the head coaches meetings to sit down with a lot of these guys, some that, coached against me when I was a player. But then, going through it just to see their intensity. I've been really lucky in terms of my career, just as a player, as a coach. Some of the coaches I've been able to play and coach against. And no different this year. A lot of these guys I was friends with, so going up against them for the first time.
You said we're friends with.
Yeah,
past tense.
friends before tip, depending on result. Maybe not so in the handshake line, but then friends afterwards. So, just appreciative of, it's a journey. And, for me, the first time going through it as a head coach, and just the respect I've got for this league. Going through it with, again, the amount of close games was torture. Like every night you're in a grind, and just a great appreciation for how hard people work.
Yeah, one of the reasons we do this show is not for money and fame and women, because
even though you have all three,
yeah, sure. As I'm sitting in my basement in Akron, Ohio, is just the appreciation of all college basketball. I mean, you played, Big East, obviously now ACC, which is very difficult for me to say that Syracuse is in the ACC. I'm sorry, I'm a purist, but I don't think people understand how good and how deep the MAC is. And actually both MACs, both have been American, but more so, since we're talking to you, the Metro Atlantic, and the history, the coaches, the players, the schools, the traditions, and, hopefully, you finished 8th in conference, no offense. That's no offense, but you did finish 8th. You were 9-11, but you could have easily been 15-7, right? Yeah. That's how, and there were other teams like that too. It was it's just great basketball.
It's great basketball. And, you know, at one point we lost 4 league games by 5 points. And, you know, I went back, we had missed 38 free throws in those 4 losses. So, you know, I think for us, you know, we're trying to obviously change the script. You know, I thought it was probably going to be a 2-year build when I got the job. When I put the roster together, I liked what we had. I talked about what I wanted the program to look like, you know, in terms of how hard we played. And I think for the people that follow us, I think they appreciated the quality of character of kid that we brought in for how hard they fight and compete and consistently night in and night out. You know, I think you could probably take the Quinnipiac on the road. That was really the one game that we just were out of early. But night in and night out, we were in the mix. You know, we were in the fight. And, you know, I think for us, kind of changing the script in the year 2, the retention. And that's, you talk about the quality of the league. I think the league's going to be really good this year. I look around, you look at Sacred Heart, Quinnipiac. You know, who else had high level retention? Manhattan, I think, is going to be very good.
I think everybody had some retention,
Yeah.
which is amazing. I mean,
so I think, and that speaks to me. That speaks of multiple things. It speaks to these coaches are doing really good jobs with the kids they're getting to be able to retain them, and then the kids that play in our conference, I think they appreciate how hard it is to win. So they understand that this is a really quality conference and it's difficult to win because there's a lot of talent. You know, I think if you look around college basketball, the landscape, levels like ours are eventually getting poached by the level above us. And if you look around the young talent, look at that, you know, the Gavin Doties that we had, Will Sidner from Manhattan, Makai Connor from Sacred Heart. Just look at that freshman team. Really, really talented players. You know, that a lot of schools at the upper levels are going to be keeping a big eye on in our league. So I think having that talent in our league with the quality of coaching and how competitive it was last year, I think that level is going to go up even higher this year.
Yeah. What would you say what did you do differently off season than, let's say, last off season? Anything different? Anything more you stressed more? And, you know, I mean, your non-conference schedule was probably pretty set when you took the job to a certain extent.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing different? What did you do differently this summer than this off season?
The MTE I thought was important for us. I thought that hurt us last year. That was preset. You know, we had to go to Xavier, obviously a tall task, and they shot the blood out of the ball. And we played really good for a long stretch. But then you turn around, we missed a day of practice because of the travel. And then we flew to Fort Myers and played 2 really good teams. And before you know it, you turn around and you've lost 3 straight. So I wanted to kind of change that format in terms of looking at it strategically, geographically, of where we could go that wouldn't penalize us in terms of practice time. Financially, there's always a component in there.
Did you talk to Danny Hurley? Because he doesn't like Maui anymore.
He doesn't like Maui anymore. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, that's a big trip. I've done that trip. It's really difficult trip to fly all the way out there from the East Coast. You're not coming from California. You're coming from the East Coast to fly all the way out there. You know, Danny probably would feel a little bit differently if they ran 3 off out there and won that thing and came back, you know, with the trophy. But you're also paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that's what people don't understand is you're spending a ton of money to be out there, and then you're getting killed on the back end of the travel. So that was really, to me, when I had a chance to kind of work my own schedule, is the MTE was really important to me in terms of, can I get the most bang for my buck in terms of, you got to look at the financial component, but at the same time, I want to be competitive. I want to play against teams that, you know, will have a chance to hopefully win a game, but it's not going to penalize my team in terms of travel. You know, so there's a fine line of, like, obviously I want them to have a great experience, get a game like Xavier, but I can do that through a bye game, which we have done this year with Indiana. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Mick Cronin's complaints about travel then too, coming to the East, or no?
I'm not getting into that. Like, they made this conference realignment. They made their own bet. I'm not even touch that one.
I'm just messing with you. That's the most controversial, as you know, we're going to get. Talk about your team coming back. You have 4 of your top 5 players, potential preseason player of the year, and Justice Shouts. I mean, you got Doughty, you got Coyle, you got Jackson all coming back. You have some other pieces coming back too. Nice freshman class. You're bringing in 2 large men,
Yeah,
6'11" and 7 feet. I mean, Jesus, coach. I mean, what can you say about the team? I mean, if you're not excited about Siena, Saints basketball, I don't know what you can be excited about.
I am.
Wow. I mean,
I certainly am. I hope, obviously my guys are. I felt like it's such a funny business now. Like I felt like I retained, everybody like in retention, but I've got 7 new guys. I brought in 3 transfers and 4 freshmen. But I thought at the end of last year, I thought we needed to physically improve. I felt like we needed to get a little bit more imposing from the front court, and we did that. And anytime you can get a guy that's got experience, Riley Mulvey had high major experience and played for a great coach, Coach McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tazzy Goodrick had great experience at Gannon, and he was a high-level Division II player along with Antonio Chandler, all physical, all mobile. Because I didn't want to sacrifice mobility with physicality. I wanted to kind of get a combination of both because of the way I like to play. So just really excited when I can retain the amount of offense that comes back with obviously Justice Gavin and Brendan Coyle, who led the league in 3-point makes, and then bring in the quality of transfer we did, retain Marcus Jackson, Reed Ducharme, and Tajay Jones. I feel like we've addressed what I felt like we needed in terms. My depth is deeper, significantly. I could look down there and I'm going to feel confident that we've got 13 players on my roster right now, which is going to be hard, to play everybody and make everybody happy. But the reality of it is I had 3 injuries last year, and that really hurt us.
Yep.
And if you don't have quality of depth, you're in trouble. And I'm a full believer in my guys right now. I knew that my freshmen were good. What I'm really happy about is by week 3 of the summertime, you could see their progressions. You could see them getting better and getting more comfortable with what I run offensively, but more so the pace of play and how physical it is. So very, very happy in terms of roster build. But above all that, I've even said it last year, I just had such a great appreciation for the maturity level that my guys competed with, how they practiced every day, the professionalism. And this group has not missed a beat with that. And when you've got the guys that I retained in terms of the culture piece coming in, those 7 new guys kind of fall in line with what's expected here.
Yeah. It's definitely exciting. You got to check out the Dogs, aka the Siena Saints, the Fighting Priests. So how much do you like this summer? Obviously a very good player, national champion, yada, yada, yada. Syracuse, no disrespect. The Orangemen, not the Big Orange, the Orangemen, in the Carrier Dome. I think Syracuse, and I've been to a lot of universities, probably Syracuse University has the most steps. And just think, because I used to work Coach Boeheim's Big Orange Camp.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you, my calves are like, and this was 20-some years ago, my calves are feeling it. But you look at the summer, what you played in, and now you coach in. Do you like it? And then we had another coach, and the name escapes me, so I apologize, Coach, that there's discussions about having an potential exhibition games in the summer too. What are your thoughts on kind of the off season, if there really is ever one nowadays?
I like the off season a lot more now than when I was a player. You got to understand, when I got recruited to Syracuse, my high school graduation lasted until June, so I didn't get on campus until that second summer session. And the old recruiting model back then was 20 days on the road in July. So I literally got to Syracuse that first summer, and the coaches were leaving campus for the most part for almost the entire month of July when I got there. I think the way they've changed, the NCAA has changed the recruiting model. We want as much time when our teams are on campus as we can get. I like the fact that we've got the 8 hours a week. The thing I don't quite understand is why, and I know it's to protect the student athlete, but, we're trying to get these kids acclimated to, college life, especially freshmen, and we're giving them 8 hours a week with us, and they're taking, 3 to 6 credits in the summertime. Well, now you'd send them home for 2 weeks, they come back, and now it's all right. We're allowed, once September 22nd hits, 20 hours a week, and you're in a 15 credit course load. Like how does the time frame of 8 hours a week get them acclimated to what they're about to face in the fall with an overloaded academic schedule?
Yeah.
That'd be my only gripe with it. But at the same time, because of what I went through last year in terms of health, I understand that the summer, like, all right, I can't grind these guys into the ground, but I've got to get them prepared for when they're done with the summer, that they'd be ready to play a game. So there's a fine line in terms of I've got to remain healthy, but I've still got to get skill development, put in my stuff, kind of, get them used to how I coach in terms of my terminology.
Yeah.
I really like the model. I do. I like this model. I like the way that we've scheduled our summer here the first 2 summers. I feel like I give my guys, I give them weekends off. I try to get them. My model and the way I do things is I want my players excited to be in the gym when it's time to be in the gym. And that's strategically how I run my practices and how I schedule my summers. And I feel like the way we've done it, my players, for the most part, I can't speak for them. I like to think that, but for the most part, I think my players, but when it's time to get in the gym with us, they can't wait.
Yeah. How does Mrs. McNamara feel about it all?
As long as I schedule an afternoon to play golf, she's fine. I know you got a daughter that's a golfer. My oldest is a golfer, and her family, that's how I got into it. They're all golfers. So I try to do my best because, they've got coach's wife, God bless them. I mean, during the season, it's just so difficult what they have to deal with us and our attitudes and our bad behavior and, our mood swings, and you live and breathe it, and the summertime, I've got it. Time management's everything. I tell freshmen, hey, this is about growing up, and I've got to hold, I have to preach, when I'm preaching, I got to practice too. Like I've got to make sure that I spend the time with my family that they deserve, because those months, I was AAU traveling dad this summer for basketball. I played as much golf in the afternoons as I could with the kids, swim team, whatever I could do.
Good.
Because, especially my kids are young enough, like these ages, like they're so impressionable. I have to be there for important moments. And I've got to make sure as I schedule my summer that I do right by both my players and my family.
And kind of what you're seeing, and you can understand this now because you've seen both the high, and no disrespect to Siena, the high major and the mid major. Okay. Is you're seeing coaches in the mid major level or high major level, they get in good positions. They have more of a balance, and you're seeing coaches maybe not move as much. I mean, look at Tom Pecora at Quinnipiac. I mean, there's multiple other guys in your conference that have stayed kind of the course because of that. I mean, the other MAC, not to keep talking about the Mid-American, I mean, 5 of their top coaches have been there for 7+ years. They've had a taste of maybe the Illinois and what have you. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. John Gross, he's back at Akron, and he's got a quality of life. He's got a balance.
And these are all really good coaches that I think they all, and if you find great places like this, like it's a great place. It's a great place to live. It's got great support. So you could spend an entire career here. I think the thing that those coaches, like you got to talk about a guy like Tom Pecora, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy that knows the game, and you strike on a couple good recruiting classes, and look how he's got it going. That's part of it. If you're a hoop junkie and you do right, you're good to people, you can make a living in this, and hopefully all those good deeds and how you treat people over the course of 30 years, it all comes full circle. So TP, I love seeing that from him because he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a guy like I see in, like, again, the head coaches meetings where you get a chance to spend, like, we're competitors, but at the end of the day, like, we've all got families, we all love hoop, and there's a time to try to rip each other's throats out, and that's when your teams play.
Right.
The fact that a lot of good people in this business that last, and they do it at great places, and they find, like you're saying, you've been at every level, and then you find that perfect match for you. And I'm just, they're good stories because those guys deserve it.
Yeah. It's my only disappointment with college, but one of my big disappointments is I kind of favor expansion as long as like conferences like the MAC, get multiple bids. But as you know, that's probably not going to happen. But that's the unfortunate part, because you guys are beating the crap out of each other for potentially one bid.
Yeah, look at the A10. I mean, how's the A10? This metric system, in terms of how it's flipped, it makes it almost impossible for certain leagues to be more than a one bid league.
Right.
Look at George Mason. George Mason had a wonderful year. They had a terrific season last year.
Tony Skinn. Yep.
They don't win their conference tournament, and who ends up winning this? Dayton. Was it Dayton that got in, or
I believe Dayton? Yeah, Dayton.
Yeah.
And the year before was my guy Drew Joyce at Duquesne, Keith Dambrot.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't going to get in. They win the tournament, and
you're in.
Now another team's not going to make it that had a really good record, but Duquesne made the run, and that's what basketball is about. So that's the unfortunate part.
Harder to get multiple bits. It's gotten darn near impossible for a lot of these leagues. And if the A10 is becoming a one bid league, a lot of good teams don't get in that tournament now.
Yeah. A lot of good coaching, a lot of good teams, a lot of good players too.
Yeah.
So as you know, we do the shot clock. Sam sets it up. Got a couple of different questions for you. We're not going to talk about the spa, as you said it in your Scrantonian accent. We're going to be a little bit more serious, believe it or not, because I'm serious. So we're going to start it off very soft and easy, okay?
Okay.
One word to describe Siena and one word to describe the MAAC.
Siena, the program, like the basketball program, or the school? Great.
Everything. Yep, everything.
The MACK, competitive.
What did you say Siena is? The one word to describe Siena? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And competitive. Okay. All right. Biggest misconception of the MAAC?
Level of talent.
Yeah. Heard that one before, unfortunately. Favorite official in the MAAC so far?
I can't. That's no comment. No chance. No.
We've had
One
coaches.
answer, no.
We've had coaches.
No.
There ain't no good officials. I'm like, dude.
They are, but I'm not naming one over another. I'm not putting myself in that corner.
All right. Okay. Just wanted to see if you take a little bit of a bait, have a little bit of fun. I mean, no one's going to watch or listen to this. Let's be honest. What team last year in conference got called for the most fouls? What team in your conference got called for the most fouls in the MAAC?
I don't know the accurate answer to this. What team should have been called was probably Iona.
Okay. It was St. Peter's with 18.9 fouls per game. What was the least called team in the conference?
Siena.
You were fifth most called fouls, 16.2. Manhattan, the Jaspers, with 14.2.
This gal's not coaching any defense down there.
Wow. Okay. All right. Give me your funniest recruiting story, both as a head coach or coach. We're not going to use your own playing days.
Head coach or coach?
Head coach or assistant. Could be at Syracuse. You could be at Siena. It doesn't matter.
I'll tell you, my favorite is the Jim Boeheim story when he recruited me. And it was after we played we had played Bobby Hurley and St. Anthony's. And they came to Scranton and played us. And everybody, the who's who that was recruiting me, and then obviously they had a bunch of prospects all came in to see the game. Now, Syracuse had a game that night, and Coach Boeheim couldn't be there. So you fast forward like 2 or 3 nights later, we're playing a league game against probably the worst team in that league, and he had called my high school coach, "Hey, I'm coming." And my high school coach, Coach Boeheim, "Don't worry about it." "No, I got to tell him. I got to show him that I want him." And he's like, he knows he wants. He's like, "I got to be there." So we're doing warm-ups. He comes in. He walks in the gym. There's like literally no one on one side of the gym. And we're up 26-2 at the end of the first quarter, just like my high school coach had told him. So started the second quarter. I don't start the second quarter. One of my best friends, Chris Flynn, he's still one of my best friends. Huge Syracuse fan.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yo, Jer." He's like, look. And I looked up, and here was Coach like leaning against the wall, knocked out, cold asleep to start the second quarter. And the way I took it was like, dude, he's got to be exhausted. He's probably grinding over his team, and he came down to watch. I gotta love this guy. Knocked out.
I mean, is that the school you always wanted to go to? I mean, what was your dream school growing up? I don't think we've ever asked you that.
I didn't have one. I don't think I had a dream school. They just recruited me the best. I mean, I had the best relationship with him, Mike Hopkins, and Coach.
Oh, Mike Hopkins is the man. Yeah.
And then again, distance. Like I wanted my family, my friends
Yep.
to be able to see me play, and that factored in. But it was really the relationship I created. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to know a couple of them, Coach Orr, Coach Fine. I mean, all good human beings. Awesome people. Okay, so let's just stay on Syracuse then. So if you had to put an all-star team together of when you played, okay, you can't have any of your teammates, so you can't have Melo or any of your teammates. Give me your starting 5
of when I played.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't have. What do you mean? I can't have my own teammates from when I played?
Nope.
So of all time, Syracuse, is this like the best?
When you were in college, when you were playing,
yeah.
If you had to put a squad together, okay, of players that you played against or in college at the time, give me your starting 5.
Played against.
Against? With? Guess against because it can't be with.
You're talking about other programs now. Or you're talking about Syracuse.
Not Syracuse.
TJ Ford, right?
Okay. Yep, from Texas.
Yeah. Ben Gordon.
Yep, Connecticut.
Probably Rudy Gay.
Connecticut.
They had some great teams. I'll tell you what, Michael Sweetney from Georgetown. First, he was a monster. Trying to think of all those great teams. And then
Michael Sweetney was a beast below the rim, is what I like to call it. Yeah, he was good.
I'm trying to think of a 4-man that was just a monster. I don't want to put too many Connecticut guys in there. I can't do that. I think of like those first few years, like Matt Carroll, like as a stretch 4, but he was really more of a guard at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Just the level of talent. It's awesome. Those years that's a pretty good 5. I'll tell you what. Yeah. Let's put Rudy Gay at the 4, Matt Carroll at the 3. How about that?
Okay. I'm surprised because you didn't fare too well against UConn in your college days, and you put 2 of them on there. No.
I won the last game I played against them. That's just how I remember it.
Weren't you like 1-8 against them?
No, it was more than that. It just wasn't very good.
And Pitt wasn't. You weren't very good against Pitt
those
either.
Are the 2, yeah. Those are the 2 programs.
Yeah, that's okay. I
mean, people don't realize. I think Pittsburgh over that 4-year stretch had the most wins in that stretch.
Yeah,
Jamie Dixon had that thing.
Yeah,
rolling. Still a great coach.
Yeah. All right. Last question. All right. What is your spirit animal?
A dog?
No. You can't do a dog.
All right, a lion.
Okay. A dog.
I'm a dog guy. I got a dog. You know what I mean?
All right, Coach, you got nothing. You passed. I mean, all good stories and stuff like that. So last question Sam always follows up with, what can you say to the Siena alumni, fans, boosters, supporters of what to expect this year?
I think they understand what we're trying to build around here. I think last year it was just voices. Like last year you could hear me speak, but at the end of the day, you got to wait to see us play. And then I think for the most part, our fan base fell in love with the quality of person and how they played, how hard they played. I think there's going to be an emotional tie where you don't get with a lot of programs where now you have a lot of retention so they can root for the guys that they really like playing, watching play. And then this year, I think our fan base is so passionate. They understand what we've done in the portal, and they're really looking forward to how we're going to be a little bit different at certain positions. And I think the expectation is what it should be here. We're trying to win a championship. It's what it should be year in and year out. It's the standard we're trying to set. It's the standard that our players are trying to hold themselves to. And we know that you got to pay a price to be one of those groups, and we're not going to cheat the process. And I've got a group that's fully bought in. They are fully bought into this place, this vision, what we're trying to accomplish. And I think our fans know exactly what to expect from our group. We're going to put it all on the line every night.
Awesome. Coach, you're going to stick on for one more minute. Coach McNamara, thank you so much. Check out the Siena Saints in the MAAC with 2 A's. And it should be a good one. Yeah, double A. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. And don't forget to follow us on our social media handles on the Full Court Network. So back next week with the Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show.